I watched the Republican debate, and I saw this guy, Ron Paul. He's my new hero.
Start the clock.
What he was saying was we should listen to our enemies. We would actually make ourselves safer. You just never heard this logic from someone who's actually going to run the country. Got Ben Affleck here. They're screaming for Ron Paul. We're going to bring out Ron Paul in a little while. I'm Ben Affleck. Okay, thank you for being here. Look at that. Now,
that's nice.
Do you have any mixed feelings about getting such an ovation from such a liberal audience?
Well, not really. I mean, I think a politician always likes applause.
Yeah. Well, we had you on about, I think it was late March, and I think we just scratched the surface, and that's really my fault. I should have scratched it more, but after I saw you in the debate, I said, you know what, this is a person who I really want to talk to a lot more. And there's so many things I want to ask you, but I know you just got back yesterday. You were in Washington at the National Press Club, and I thought this was great. You presented Rudy Giuliani, I guess he wasn't there, but with a reading list.
Right.
And Rudy Giuliani, who took you on in this debate and pretends to be such a terrorism fighter, he really hasn't read anything about it, has he?
No, it looks like he skipped the 9/11 investigation. You know, he didn't read that report because it sort of supported my position on that.
And what of the things that you suggested he read do you think are most important that he be aware of?
Well, I think it's been known for quite a few decades that our foreign policy has what the CIA calls blowback. It has unintended consequences. You can go back to 1953 when we put the Shah into power, or us supporting Osama bin Laden
right.
and radicalizing the Islamics to go after the Soviets, and that comes back as blowback. Our support for Saddam Hussein in the 1980s. And this comes back to haunt us, and that's why I have been very attractive and very supportive of what I call a non-interventionist foreign policy. Mind our own business and stay out of the internal affairs of other nations.
Yeah. Right after 9/11, I remember when we finally, you know, television shows got back on the air. Of course, I got fired. But the other ones that were still able
to... the other shows.
Yeah, the other shows.
Yeah.
I said the wrong thing, too. But the big question, I remember, was, why do they hate us? Remember that? We had about a week when we were all, why do they hate us? And then we just forgot that and went, they're evil. They're evil, we're good. We don't... Why do you think America is so dumb? Was it always this dumb?
I hope not all of us.
No, not all of us.
We're Americans.
Yes, right. But how do you get the smart America? I mean, come on. I mean, if America was a smarter country, wouldn't you be leading in the polls?
Let's hope so. And that plus, if you can raise $100 million, you know, money talks these days. So.
I've said before that, you know, when you're dealing with somebody who is your enemy, and we do have an enemy, but I wouldn't call them terrorists. I would call them Muslim fundamentalists. I don't think everyone who attacks us is a terrorist, certainly not in Iraq. But you have to either make them fear you or love you. You know, it used to be America was loved around the world. We gave up...
I don't know when was that? Was it 1777? About a year.
When Kennedy went anywhere around the world, he was beloved.
Even Jackie that they liked.
Clinton, when he went around the world, was beloved. People were in love with him, and he liked some of them too.
I think what we should look for is respect. That's what we need, and that's what we don't have. And they look down upon us because we impose on them. I have no problems with this theoretical position of the neocons to spread the goodness of America, but just not with force. We should spread it by setting a good example, getting our house in order, making sure civil liberties are defended here. Then, when we have a free and prosperous economy and everybody's doing well and everybody's getting medical care, then they'll want to emulate us. But there's no way it'll work to pretend that we have goodness. It's so good that the Wilsonian, actually, this is old stuff, Wilson, make the world safe for democracy.
A Democrat.
It hasn't worked, and force does not work.
Yeah.
Persuasion does.
And I know you've said before that you're the most conservative member of Congress. You are really more Republican than they are. What's they're the Republicans. What happened to your party?
They've lost their way, and they tend to be critical of what I'm saying, but I think it hurts. But I think I'm on safe grounds historically that Republicans, at least, they still talk about small government, don't they, and individual freedom.
They talk about it.
But they don't. So therefore, I think in time, the people will wake up. And last year they didn't do too well. 1994, they spoke a strong message. They won an election, and they thought they were going to work for smaller government. And look, and even on the foreign policy, how did George Bush get elected? Strongly critical of Clinton,
right.
Nation building and policing the world, and this is what he pushed. The peace candidate always wins. Just think about it. Even before World War I and World War II, we're going to keep you out of the war. Eisenhower wins and Nixon wins. What about Barry Goldwater and the Johnson campaign? I mean, even though Johnson was promoting the war and spreading it, Barry Goldwater was turned into the guy that was going to unleash the bomb. So
right.
the peace is a powerful message, especially after the war has been going on and the people wake up and realize how many people die and how much it costs. And that's why I think the people are really ready for a message that says we don't have to be in this mess. Logic tells us that we can make a better world in a much easier way than causing wars.
Well, I hope you're out there delivering it. I know that some people have tried to get you out of the Republican debates,
right,
and to just make you go up to the blackboard and write 1,000 times they hate us for our freedom.
That's right.
But you won't do that.
But we have Mr. Giuliani studying tonight. He's home reading all those books. And he's going to come back and he's going to apologize to me. And he's going to say, I'm sorry, Ron, I just didn't know that that's the way foreign policy works. I didn't even know that you just can't blame Americans for our foreign policy, that it's the policy that's at fault. It's not the fault of the Americans who are victimized by these evil, monstrous, murderous people who come over and kill us. It's the fault of the policymakers. It's policy that counts.
From your lips to God's ears. Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming out here.
Okay.
You keep on it.
Thank you.
Ron Paul, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wow. That is the most applause a Republican ever got around here.